Hello, welcome to your Business English Writing course. My name's Chris Smith, and today we're going to be looking at some important things on the course. And I'd also like you to think about how good business writing can impact your job, your department, and your future prospects. The goal of the course is to help you improve your business writing. But what exactly does that mean, improve your business writing? Does it mean, for example, to improve your grammar and your vocabulary? Well, I think the answer to that is yes, it does mean those things, but it also means a lot of other things too. Now, to illustrate my point, I'd like you to read two emails. And I also have some questions for you to read and think about while you're reading the emails. Here are the questions. So, as the reader, how do you feel about the writer? How do you feel about being asked questions in this way? And maybe the last two questions are the key ones here. Who would you rather work with directly? And who would you trust to do something important for you? Let's read the emails, and you can pause the video now. So, after reading the emails, my guess is that you've chosen email 1 as being the better of the two. And there are many reasons for that, of course. Grammar and vocabulary are just two of the reasons. But what about things like format? The two emails are formatted differently, and I'm sure you'll agree that email 1 has a better format that's easier to read. But what about other things like the information, how the information is organized? Both our emails have a little bit different information, and the organization is different too. Email 1 has a much clearer organization. There are also things like formality. The two emails have a different level of formality, and email 1 is written relatively informally, yet it's still a business email. And we'll go into the reasons why it's so informal in a moment. Apart from formality, there's also the general tone of the emails. I'm pretty sure that you feel that email 1's written in a quite friendly way, and maybe email 2 has some features that make it a little bit impatient. That's probably not a good idea when you're doing business. Now, let's move on to the course content and the course components. So, as you can see, we're running the training through video lessons, and there are several benefits to video lessons. First of all, it's very convenient to use video because you can pick a time to watch them that's convenient for you, and you can stop and start the video at the right time for you. And if you want to keep watching the video, if there are some points you'd like to focus on, you can just watch it as and when it suits you. We also have two face-to-face sessions, each one of 60 minutes, and there are several things we can do in those 60-minute sessions. One of them is we can actually do some class work, but it's also a good time probably for Q&A and resolving any issues or concerns you have at the time. Finally, we have assignments and feedback. So if you're going to work on your business writing, it's really important that you actually do the writing. And when you've done the writing, of course, you need to have feedback on what you're doing well and what needs improvement. So altogether, these three components make up the course, and it's really important that you complete each one to be successful in improving your writing. Now let's look at a little bit more detail at the content itself. So we will be looking at things like email format. I'm pretty sure that looking back at email 1, you can see some things about the formatting here. For example, you can probably see that the important information is contained in that big band in the middle there, and that probably the first line and the last line are some polite things. So even without reading the email, you can tell that. It just helps so that you can locate key information quickly. Also, formality. Now, as we noted, that email 1 is written relatively informally, yet it is still a business email. We don't know the background of the reader and the writer, but clearly they are familiar with each other. Who knows, they may have been former high school or college classmates. Or maybe they just worked together very well in business from the beginning, and now they have a relatively close relationship. When writing is informal in this way, it's because the relationship is closer. But most business writing tends to be neutral, and you may need to write formally, and probably neutral is the most common way you need to write. So we'll be looking at all three levels of formality in this course. After formality, we have to think about the different email types available. There are many different types of emails, and you may need to do quite a wide range of these, or maybe there are just a few email types that you need to focus on. Either way, the choice of email types will be available for you to choose and to work on. Assignments and feedback, I've already mentioned those a little bit, but what I'd like you to think about is the connection between the work and something that we have called a checklist. Now, what is a checklist? Now, when you write your assignments, it's good to have a checklist. A checklist contains all the items that you need to look at as you're writing and after you've completed the writing, to make sure that you've covered all the important things. And that will include things like grammar, vocabulary, level of formality, and so on. In the beginning, when you're using your checklist, those things will just have a very general meaning. But as you do more and more assignments, the checklist becomes more personalized, because from the feedback I give you, you'll know which grammar areas to be focusing on, and which vocabulary to be focusing on, and other things as well. So every time you do a new assignment, you'll use your checklist to check the key things that are important for you to cover. Great. Well, that covers everything in this short introduction. Next, we'll be moving on to email format and layout. Thank you very much for watching.